Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you, Hindi team. Now we are moving to English session. Thank you, everyone. Today is our 2102nd day of continuous webinar. Thank you all the participants and faculties for joining with us. And today's our guest is Dr. Dimple Patadia. She is MD in Homeopathy, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physiology and Biochemistry in Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, Parul University. She's a homeopathic consultant also. She have 6 years of experience and 6 years of experience. Today's our topic is understanding sciatica holistically from pathophysiology to prescription. Doctor has joined. We are so happy to get you as our speaker of today. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you can start now, please.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, hello. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Dimple Patadia. First of all, I am thankful to Dr. Hifat Mehta, Principal of RHMC, Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, Dr. B.P. Panda sir, Campus Director of Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, and IFPH platform to giving me chance to present the topic of sciatica on this platform. Okay. Thank you, everyone. My screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes, visible.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Audible, visible. And
Can I start?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Today I'm going to present a webinar on the topic of understanding sciatica holistically from pathophysiology to prescription. Okay. In this webinar, I'm giving importance to present the topic on sciatica, and in this slide I include first what is sciatica, okay, then what is sciatic nerve. It means anatomy of sciatic nerve, then physiology or pathophysiology of sciatic nerve, then clinical symptoms, then management portion of sciatica, and after that I include homeopathic management, means therapeutics medicine which prescribed in cases of sciatica, and then I mention a case which managed with homeopathy. Okay, so first is what is sciatica. So sciatica is a condition characterized by pain occurring along the course of sciatic nerve, okay, due to irritation or compression of sciatic nerve roots. Okay, due to irritation or compression, the pain is present in all course of the sciatic nerve. This condition is called the sciatica. The pain usually starts from the lower back and then it radiates towards the buttock, posterior thigh, leg, and sometimes till the foot. Okay, along with pain, sometimes patient may experience numbness, tingling sensation, burning pain, or weakness in the affected limb. So this is the sciatica, definition of sciatica. Okay, now comes to the epidemiology. Sciatica is a very common condition encountered in clinical practice. Okay, lifetime evidence is about 30 to 40%. Means out of 100 people, about 30 people may experience sciatica at least once at any point of their life. Okay, yearly incidence is about 1 to 5%. Means out of 100 people, about 1 to 5 people develop sciatica in one particular year. Okay, most commonly affected disc level are L4 to L5 or L5 to S1. Okay, in elderly people, sometimes there is L2 L3 involvement is there, or sometimes L3 L4. A risk factor for developing sciatica are smoking, occupational strain, prolonged sitting, heavy lifting, and previous history of sciatica is also in the risk factor. Okay, sometimes hereditary incidents also affect the people. After epidemiology, in sciatica, it is important to know that what is sciatic nerve and what is the course of sciatic nerve. So we understand that why there is radiating pain, why there is numbness. Okay, so first of all, what is sciatic nerve? Sciatic nerve is the largest and thickest nerve in the human body. Okay, why it is largest and thickest? Because it is largest and thickest because it formed by 5 spinal segment, that is L4, L5, S1, S2 and S3, and it supplies very large area of the foot. Okay, that is it supplies motor, it is include motor supply and sensory supply. Motor supply to the muscles of the posterior thigh, leg and foot, and sensory supply to the most of the skin of the leg and foot. It because of this, it is largest and thickest nerve in the body. Okay, this is the course of sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve, it's arise from the sacral plexus, okay, with root value of L4, L5, S1, S2 and S3. Okay, arising from the sacral plexus, then it enters into the pelvis region. Okay, after enter into the pelvis region, it leaves the pelvis region through the greater sciatic foramen. This greater sciatic foramen is located below the piriformis muscle. Okay, after it leaves the pelvis region, it enters into the gluteal region. It enters into the gluteal region and passes deep into the gluteal region. Okay, then it travels down the back of the thigh. Back of the thigh, the deep to the hamstring muscle and reaches the upper part of the popliteal fossa. Okay, so its origin from the sacral plexus, then it enters into the pelvis region, then it leaves the pelvis region and enters into the gluteal region. After entering into the gluteal region, it deep, okay, deep in the posterior thigh, and then it enters into the popliteal fossa. After entering into the popliteal fossa, it divides into 2 main branches, that is tibial nerve and common peroneal. Okay, tibial nerve and common peroneal nerve, these branches supplies the leg and foot. Okay, so due to understanding this course of the sciatic nerve, we know the distribution of pain, sciatic pain, compression, site of compression, and understand the sensory and motor symptoms of the sciatica. Now, the etiology of the sciatica. Most common cause of the sciatica is intervertebral disc prolapse or disc herniation. Okay, what is meaning of this? So, in this intervertebral disc protrusion or prolapse, in this slipped disc causes pressure on the sciatic nerve. Okay, due to this pressure, there is irritation of the sciatic nerve, which causes the symptoms of sciatica. Okay, then second etiology is spinal stenosis. In this, there is narrowing of the spinal canal. Okay, due to narrowing of spinal canal, there is irritation or compression of the sciatica, which causes the symptoms of sciatica. Then piriformis syndrome. As we know, in this course of the sciatic nerve, they in pelvis region or for leaving the pelvis region, it runs below the piriformis muscle. Okay, so if any pathology is happen in the or occur in the piriformis muscle, it causes compression or irritation of the sciatic nerve. Due to this compression, there is presence of sciatica or sciatica pain. Okay, then next etiology or cause is trauma or tumor. Any trauma or tumor in the course of sciatic nerve, so it produces the symptom of sciatica. Okay, so this is about the etiology. Now come to the most important part of any disease condition. It is pathophysiology. Okay, pathophysiology, as we understand pathophysiology of any disease conditions, then and then we understand why this type of symptoms is produced in this pathology or in this disease condition. Okay, so what happens in sciatica? There is first elements or cause is compression. Due to any reason, there is compression of sciatic nerve. Okay, so in sciatica, initially there is compression or irritation of the spinal cord or spinal canal, okay, spinal nerve root. It causes compression of the L4 to S3 or L4, L5, S1, S2 or S3. Any nerve root is compressed, then it produces sciatic nerve irritation. Due to this nerve compression, body's homeostasis mechanism is disturbed. Okay, once body's homeostasis mechanism is disturbed, then there is any abnormality or any pathology is developed. Okay, after homeostasis is disturbed, then it causes reduction of the blood supply to the nerves. Okay, so due to this reduction of blood supply, there is decrease in oxygen and decrease in ATP in nerves. And finally, due to decrease in ATP and decrease in oxygen, there is sodium potassium pump dysfunction. Okay, so as we know, or as I am teacher of the physiology, okay, so once there is sodium potassium pump dysfunction, so it causes depolarization or increased depolarization of the any nerves. Due to this depolarization, the muscle or any nerves is constant in hyperexcitable state. Okay, so once there is a sodium potassium pump is dysfunction, so it causes hyperexcitability of the nerve. Okay, due to this hyperexcitability of the nerve, it causes or it leading to the increased nerve excitability. Okay, and abnormal pain signal transmission. Due to this sodium potassium pump dysfunction or abnormal pain transmission, there is cellular stress and membrane instability, which causes nerve and surrounding tissue to release inflammatory mediators. Okay, so after this release of inflammatory mediators is causes sensitivity of the nerve root increase. Okay, and lower their activity threshold. The activity threshold is lower, then it making the nerve root respond excessively. Threshold level low हो जाएगा और due to this there is abnormal spontaneous nerve firing, which causes sciatic pain radiating type. Okay, or due to this, even minor stimuli causes excess excitation of the sciatic nerve, which causes radiating pain of the sciatica. If this condition persists for longer time, it causes chronic irritation. Or due to chronic irritation, there is central sensitization of the sciatic body. Due to this central sensitization, it causes persistent chronic pain even after the initial nerve injury decrease. Okay, so this is all about the pathophysiology, how spinal compression or discompression causes the radiating pain or constant chronic radiating pain. Okay, so it is pathophysiology. Now coming to the clinical feature of the sciatica. First and foremost symptom of the sciatica is pain. The pain is of radiating in nature. Okay, radiating from lower back to the leg or foot of the affected limb. Okay, then there is a burning type or sharp shooting pain. Okay, which is common to the neuralgic pain. Okay, so sciatic nerve is affected, then it produces burning or sharp shooting pain. Then after pain, there is tingling, numbness like sensation in the affected area. Okay, and this tingling, numbness or needle like pain sensation, it's present from posterior thigh and radiating towards the calf or foot. Okay, as we know the course of the sciatic nerve or pathophysiology of the sciatica, so we understand that how why this radiating type of pain or radiating type of numbness is present in sciatica. Okay, then after pain and this tingling sensation, there is if irritation is persist for longer time or chronic disease is of chronic nature, then it produces weakness of the muscle. Okay, so affected limb or affected muscle is weak and it causes weakness or pain in walking, or standing is unbearable for the patient. Okay, and aggravating factors of the sciatica is coughing, sneezing, forward bending, prolonged sitting, prolonged standing. These all condition causes increase in irritation or compression of the sciatic nerve. Okay, that's why it causes aggravation of the symptoms of sciatica. And ameliorating factors are walking or rest or lying down position or any position which causes decrease in compression of the sciatic nerve. So any condition which causes the decrease in pressure on the sciatic nerve, it relieves the symptoms of the sciatica. Okay, so this is about the clinical feature of the sciatica. Now coming to the diagnosis. How to diagnose the case of sciatica? Okay, so diagnosis is of two types. First, examination and investigation. Okay, so in primary cases, in acute complaint, there is examination, okay, a physical examination. Examination include one important test, that is SLR test. SLR test full form is straight leg raising test. Okay, how to do this test? So in this test, ask patient to lie down in supine position and raise the straightened leg upward. Okay, if this straightened leg upward reproduce radiating pain along the sciatic nerve, especially between 30 to 70% or degree, then it suggests there is irritation or compression of the lumbosacral nerve root, which come positive in sciatica. Okay, so this is about the SLR test, which is clinically so much helpful. Okay, and if the case or the patient's complaint is of chronic nature, or in medicine book, it one word is there, red flag cases or red flag patient. Okay, so if complaint is of chronic nature, then in this type of cases there is investigation suggested, that is CT scan or MRI. CT scan and MRI is helpful to know at which place the exit compression or exit irritation occur in the course of sciatic nerve. Okay, so this is about the diagnosis, how to diagnose the case of sciatica. Now coming to the management part of the sciatica, how to manage the case. Okay, in management there is conservative management, medication and surgical treatment. In primary cases, okay, if complaint is of acute type or complaint is of short duration, so in this type of cases there is conservative treatment is applied. Okay, after if conservative treatments gives small relief, then medication is included. And if case is of chronic nature, then or any degenerative changes or pathology is of so much progress, then in that type of cases surgical treatment is needed. Okay, so conservative treatment include rest, physiotherapy, hot and cold therapy, lifestyle modification. Okay, rest is of short term relief. Okay, so if patient complain of this type of pain or burning or numbness, so give suggestion to patient to take rest for small time, then do the work. Okay, so continuous work is unbearable for patient, so we give advice to patient to take relief or short term rest for in between their work. Okay, then physiotherapy. With physiotherapy, what we do that with the help of physiotherapy, physiotherapy helps to reduce the nerve root tension or reduce the nerve root irritation or compression, and it strengthens the muscle. Okay, so with the help of physiotherapy, we reduce the nerve root compression or irritation, or and strengthen the muscle. So it helpful in that way to reduce the sciatica compression. Okay, then hot and cold therapy. Hot and cold therapy is applicable for reducing muscle spasm, stiffness and inflammation. With the help of hot and cold therapy, we reduce the muscle spasm, stiffness and inflammation. Due to this, we advise patient that hot and cold therapy is applicable in the primary cases of sciatica. Okay, then lifestyle modification. If patient is of constantly working constant in sitting position or working constant standing position, then we advise patient to modify their lifestyle. So due to this modification, patient having a relief of the sciatica complaint. Then on medication side, medication, if conservative treatment is give less relief or is applicable, but pain is of so much in intensity, so medication is needed. Okay, so medication is include NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug for pain relief. Okay, then with the NSAID, we also give also muscle relaxants is there for their treatment. Okay, due to to reduce the muscle spasm or stiffness of the muscle. Okay, after muscle relaxation, there is neuropathic drugs which causes reduce in nerve pain. Okay, then surgical treatment. Okay, in red flag cases or in chronic cases, or if there is any tumor, trauma, or degenerative disease is started, then surgical treatment is helpful. Okay, so in surgical treatment, there are three main procedure is used. Namely, they are microdiscectomy, laminectomy, and foraminotomy. In microdiscectomy, in this herniated part of disc is removed. Okay, so this herniated part is removed. It causes reduced compression of sciatic nerve. Okay, in laminectomy removes the part of vertebral bone. Okay, if vertebral part of bone is removed, then it causes reduction in nerve compression. Okay, and in foraminotomy, it in this procedure widens the nerve passage to reduce the nerve compression. Okay, so it is all about the allied portion of the sciatica. What is sciatica? Its epidemiology, its etiology, pathophysiology, course of sciatic nerve, and management of sciatic nerve, sciatica. Okay, now moving towards the homeopathic management. Okay, so I include in my slides homeopathic therapeutics. Okay, which medicine is commonly useful in the sciatica condition. Okay, so in this homeopathic therapeutic, I include the medicine with the relation of pathophysiology of sciatica. Okay, so what is the if we consider the tellurium metallicum. Okay, so in this presentation, I include tellurium metallicum as what is the sphere of action of tellurium metallicum, then what it causes or pathophysiology of tellurium metallicum. Okay, and then it what type of characteristic symptom it present in the sciatica complaint. Okay, so in homeopathic therapeutics, the first medicine is tellurium metallicum. Tellurium metallicum main sphere of action is on nerves, especially spinal nerves. Okay, on spinal nerve, it produces numbness with sharp and quick pain. Okay, so spinal nerves is sphere of action of tellurium, and it produces numbness. With numbness, there is sharp and quick pain. Okay, pain with numbness. After that, there is soreness of the affected part. Okay, so in sciatica, tellurium metallicum is helpful in the cases present with complaint of deep sciatic pain, which is aggravated by coughing or sneezing, numbness, straining, or lying. Okay, and after that, there is soreness of the affected part. Okay. So it is characteristic of tellurium metallicum that there is pain, deep pain of sciatica, which is radiating in nature. Okay, with this there is numbness, and after this pain is slow down, there is soreness of the affected part. So it is characteristic of tellurium metallicum. Now coming to the second medicine is magnesium phos. Magnesium phos main sphere of action is on nerves and muscles. Okay, on nerves is it causes sodium potassium dysfunction. Okay, so as we know in pathophysiology of sciatica that once there is sodium potassium dysfunction, it causes hyperexcitation of the nerves, and hyperexcitation of the nerves, it causes hyperexcitation of the muscles, and if hyperexcitation is start, then there is spasmodic or sharp type of pain. Okay, so in magnesium force, main sphere of action is on nerves. It produces sodium potassium dysfunction, and due to this dysfunction, it produces hyperexcitation of the nerves. Okay, so in uh, mm, patient, the symptom is present like violent sciatic pain, paroxysm of pain. Pain is of sharp and shooting in nature, which suddenly changes the place. Pain is so much violent that it causes restlessness and patient cry due to the pain. Okay, all complaints are aggravated by cold in general. Okay, so as we know that magnesium force main sphere of action is on nerves, it causes sodium potassium dysfunction. Due to this, it causes hyperexcitation, and due to this hyperexcitation, it causes sudden spasmodic pain. Pain is so much sudden and so much spasmodic that it causes patient to restless. And due to this sudden and spasmodic pain, patient cries due to the pain. Okay. Next medicine is nephralium. Nephralium main sphere of action is on nerves, especially sciatic nerve. On sciatic nerve, it produces irritation of sensory supply of the sciatic nerve. Okay. In my slide, I mentioned that sciatic nerve is the major or thick nerve in the body. Okay. Why? Because it gives supply to the major part of the leg or lower limb. Okay. In that, I mentioned that the sciatic nerve has two type of supply: motor supply and sensory supply. Okay. So nephralium mainly affect the sensory supply of the sciatic nerve. Okay. Due to these sensory nerves, stimulation, it causes abnormal nerve firing and which produces numbness. Okay, so nephralium main characteristic symptom is sciatica alternating with numbness. Okay, due to its sensory nerve irritation, which aggravated by lying down, motion, stepping, and ameliorated by sitting in chair and flexing limb on abdomen. Okay, now coming to the valeriana. Valeriana main sphere of action is on spinal nerves. What it causes on spinal nerves? It causes oversensitiveness of the spinal nerves. Due to this oversensitiveness, so it produces hyperexcitation. Okay, due to this hyperexcitation, there is radiating pain, numbness, tingling sensation, or sciatica complaint. Okay, with this numbness, one characteristic symptom is restlessness. Patient is so much restless. Okay, so main characteristic symptom of sciatica of valeriana is patient complain of restless neuralgic state. Okay, with neuralgic pain, patient is so much restless. Patient cannot keep still, restless and impulse to move. And we see in this slide that aggravation and ameliorating factor. Okay, valeriana's all complaints are aggravated by standing, sitting and resting, and amelioration by walking and rubbing. Okay, so movement is ameliorated and or rest condition is aggravating factor in the valeriana. Next medicine is plumbum metallicum. Plumbum metallicum main sphere of action is on nerves and muscles. Also, it causes degeneration of nerves or spinal cord and produce chronic ischemia. Okay, and as we know that plumbum metallicum's action are slow, insidious process. Okay, and it causes degenerative changes. Okay, so complaint are of chronic nature. So in sciatica, it is helpful in the cases present with complaint of sciatica with muscular atrophy. With this, there is one characteristic sensation in feet that his or her feet is made up of wooden. Okay, so patient complain with this, but okay, so it is about the plumbum metallicum. Next medicine is indigo. Indigo's main sphere of action is on nerves, especially localized nerves. Localized nerves means any local part of nerves is involved. Okay, mainly thigh to knee. Okay, so what it causes on nerve, it causes Hyperexcitation of nerve. Due to this hyperexcitation, there is abnormal nerve sensory firing which causes radiating pain. Okay, and patient complain of sciatic neuralgia localized to the thigh or knee. And pain is of radiating nature, but radiating from middle thigh to knee. Okay, so when we indicate the or prescribe the indigo, when there is a symptom that pain is of neuralgic in nature, radiating in nature, but pain is of localized type, then it radiates from middle thigh to leg. Okay, so next medicine is Kalika. Kalika main sphere of action is on muscles, especially lumbar muscles. Due to this sphere of action, it produces weakness of the lumbar muscles. Okay, so due to this weakness, it causes sciatica. Okay, how this weakness of muscle is caused sciatica? That due to muscular weakness, there is defective nerve nutrition to the sciatic nerve. Due to this defective nutrition, it causes hyperexcitation. This hyperexcitation causes sciatica with muscular involvement. So patient complain of sciatica with tearing pain in the thighs with jerking of the muscle. Okay. Next medicine is lachesis. Lachesis main sphere of action is on nerves and it produces intense nervous irritability and sensitization of nerves and causes hyperesthesia and painful oversensitivity of the nerves. So in sciatica, it is helpful in cases present with right-sided sciatica cannot be which is aggravated by touch, motion and jar. This lachesis is mainly of left-sided, but in Boric Materia Medica, it is mentioned that it is helpful in right-sided sciatica cases. Okay. Next medicine is Kofia. Kofia's main sphere of action is on nerves and senses. On nerves, these nerves and senses is excited by emotion. Any emotion which is aggravating factor for Kofia. Okay. On nerves, it produces over excitation, and on senses, it produces over sensitiveness. Due to this, it produces crural neuralgia. Neuralgia which is of cruel in nature. So much cruel that patient drives to despair due to pain. Okay, pain is so much intolerable. So it helpful in cases present with intolerable neuralgic pain, which is of with twitching of muscles. Okay, and pain is so much intolerable that drives patient to despair. Next medicine is Natrum muriaticum. Natrum muriaticum is mainly affected on nutrition. It causes poor nutrition. Okay. Due to this poor nutrition, the nerves supply oxygen of nerve or the blood supply of the nerve is decreased. Due to this decreased blood supply, it produces ischemia. Due to this ischemia, oxygen ATP is decreased to the nerve and nerves easily exhausted. Okay, so this exhaustion and this poor nutrition, it causes symptoms that numbness and tingling in the lower extremities with tight hamstring. Okay, and with weakness of the affected part. Next medicine is sulfur. Sulfur's main sphere of action is on circulation and nutrition. On circulation and nutrition, it causes disturbance. Okay, disturbance in circulation and nutrition causes congestion, throbbing, and burning. That is signs of the inflammation. Okay, so on circulation, it causes disturbance of circulation. Due to this disturbance of circulation, it produces inflammation. Okay, due to this inflammation, there is a chronic irritation of the nerve. Due to this chronic irritation, there is chronic inflammatory neuralgia. Okay, so this patient or it is helpful in sciatica with the complaint of burning soles. That is characteristic of sulfur patient. That burning soles wants them uncovered. cannot standing long time and unsteady gait, okay, with radiating type of pain which is common in sciatica. Next medicine is Lycopodium. Lycopodium's main sphere of action is on digestion and nutrition. Okay, on digestion, it causes weakness of digestion, and nutrition on nutrition it causes defective nutrition. Due to this weakness of digestion and defective nutrition, it causes poor circulation to the nerves. Okay, due to this poor circulation, there is cold numbness of affected part or nerves. Okay, so patient complain of right-sided sciatica with cold numb extremities due to defective nutrition. This all complaint is aggravated by pressure and lying down and ameliorated by hot application and walking. Due to walking, there is increased circulation or increased nutrition, which causes this cold numbness is cold numb affected part is relieved. Okay, so this is all about the therapeutic portion of the sciatica. Now coming to the case which is of sciatica with which managed with homeopathic medicine. Okay. Patient came at 28th April 2025. 50 years old lady lived in a joint family with a member of 6 family members and is a housewife and maintained the house properly. Okay. She had complained of left-sided lumbar pain radiating to the whole left lower limb with numbness since 3 to 4 years. Pain was bursting type in nature, which aggravated by standing, exertion, and on morning. And it was ameliorated by rest and lying down. Also with this, patient has complained of calf muscle pain on both the limbs since 1 to 2 years. Pain was bursting type in nature, which is aggravated by summer, morning, exertion, and ameliorated by rest, lying down, and winter. One associated complaint is there that patient having cone on right foot with constant dull aching pain since 7 to 8 months, which was aggravated by touch and pressure and ameliorated by rest and warmth. In past history, patient has hypertension since 2 years, now taking antihypertensive drugs for that. Patient has COVID infection, which was treated with allopathic medication. Patient has cataract on both eyes, which is operated before 5 years. And patient has a history of rheumatism of knee on both sides before 50 to 20 years, which treated with allopathic medication. On family history, patient showed that asthma to father and brother, diabetes mellitus to mother, and hypothyroidism to sister. On physical general, patient appetites were normal. Patient was highly thirsty. She desires too much spicy food with the no aversion to any type of food. The perspiration is of profuse in character. Stool urine were normal. Patient has dream of her children, her grandchildren, family. Thermally, patient was too much hot. Menopause has occurred before 3 years. Now coming to the mental children. So patient was mild and hardworking in nature. Okay, she lived with joint family for 25 years after her marriage. She was so much talented that before her marriage she can't do any type of household work. But after marriage she learns everything and do it passionately. She is graduated in commerce, but as her house is conservative, so she is housewife, but never felt any guilt for that in life, but do her work as her duty. She was highly responsible and hardworking woman who remained deeply committed to her duties and rarely complained despite difficulties. She instilled the same values in her children, teaching them to be honest, ethical, and sincere in their work. She strongly believed that money should be earned only through righteous means and would often say, I may remain hungry for a day, but only honestly earned money should come into this house. So this type of lady, highly duty conscious, highly hardworking, highly honest. Okay, but one incident is there. Patient's life underwent a significant emotional change following the marriage of her elder son. Okay, approximately before 6 to 7 years ago. Her son had a love marriage within same community. According to the patient, her daughter-in-law was dominating in nature, showed little respect to her, frequently spoke harshly with the patient, and avoided household responsibilities. Despite feeling hurt, the patient refrained from reacting or confronting her. Subsequently, the daughter-in-law filed a police complaint alleging harassment by the family, following which the police visited their home. Okay. Although the matter was later resolved, and even neighbors and acquaintances expressed support for the patient family, the incident had a profound emotional impact on them. Okay, she was highly hardworking, highly duty conscious, do her work as her duty. Okay, but behave nicely with everyone. Okay, so these incidents affects her deeply, that her daughter-in-law, elder son's daughter, the wife, is not respecting her, not respect her family. Okay, due to these incidents, she deeply affected. Okay, even after 6 years, she narrate these incidents as this event is happened before 1 to 2 months. Okay, and she deeply cries while telling these whole incidents. Since then, she was remained deeply affected by this event. She continues to worry about how others may perceive her family and often feels embarrassed or humiliated when attending any social or family events. Okay. She report persistent thought about the incident despite repeated reassurance from relative and well-wishers that she was not at fault. She constantly thinks about this event, that how other people behave with them, how other people think about them. Okay, so she reports persistent thoughts about this event. Even after several years, the memory remains distressing and she frequently dwells on them, indicating prolonged emotional suffering associated with this event. By nature, okay, so this event deeply hurt the patient, and after 6 years, she constantly having thought of this event, constantly dwells on this event, and constantly think that other people's how think about them, how their family image is so much down due to this incident. Okay, by nature, the patient was very kind, very caring in nature, very much emotional. She cannot bear to see anyone in suffering. Okay, when she sees someone's in pain or difficulty, her eyes fills with tear. She is always ready to help people in need in whatever way she can. Her emotional sensitivity is marked. Even hearing about tragic incidents or disaster in the news or TV, this can affect her profoundly, disturbing her sleep for several days. Okay, this much type of sensitive the patient is. She tends to internalize the suffering of others and remains emotionally affected long after such events. Before coming to my clinic, okay, so this is all about the mental general of the patient, that says having elements from humiliation or mortification or family dispute deeply affected by that police incident. She is highly sympathetic, mild, submissive in nature. Okay, now coming to the clinical examination. Before coming to my clinic, the patient has already undergone an MRI investigation on 18th July 2024. The MRI showed the structural changes in the lumbar spine, including L4 L5 disc bulge with compression of the left nerve root, which supported the diagnosis of sciatica. But, however, when the patient visited my clinic on 28th July 2025, it was important to assess her current clinical condition and correlate it with her symptom. So, I performed the SLR test. The SLR test were positive on the left side at about 45 degree and reproduced the characteristic radiating pain along the back of the thigh and leg. This confirmed the ongoing sciatic nerve root irritation and correlated well with the previous MRI findings. Okay. So this is analysis of the case. Analysis of the case in this classification of mental general, physical general, and physical particular. On mental general, patient was sympathetic, elements from honor wounded, dwells in past disagreeable occurrences, mildness, and weepy in nature. Physical general, hot, thirsty, profuse perspiration, and spicy food desire. Physical particular, sciatic nerve pain on left side, numbness of the left lower limb, calf muscle pain on both the limb, and cone on feet, which is painful in nature. Now coming to the evaluation of the symptom. After analyzing the case, I evaluated and graded the symptom according their importance. The most important mental symptoms were ailments from wounded honor and dwelling on past disagreeable occurrences, both graded as +3. The patient is also very sympathetic, mild, emotional in nature. Therefore, the symptoms sympathetic, weepy mood, and mildness were graded as +2. The physical general patient is hot, which was graded at +3, has increased thirst and profuse perspiration, and the desire for spicy food is graded as +2. Because during case taking, patient constantly drink the water. Okay, and at one time the light is off, then patient is unbearable, or patient says that speedily open the fan or on the fan. Okay, so that's why hot thermal state hot is given as +3 mark. Regarding particulars, the main complaints was left-sided sciatic nerve pain, which was graded as +2, and painful cone on the feet, also considered as and graded as 1 mark. The miasmatic analysis. In this case, I consider fundamental and dominant miasm as psychosis. Dominant and fundamental miasm was considered as psychosis because the patient has a tendency to suppress their emotion and dwells on past event for many years. Okay. On the physical level, chronic sciatica and presence of painful core also indicate the psychotic tendency. Okay. Now coming to the totality of symptoms. In totality of symptom, I considered dwells on past disagreeable occurrences, ailments from honor wounded, sympathetic, weeping easily, mildness, hot, perspiration profuse, cone on feet painful, and sciatic nerve pain on left side. After total or evaluating and totality of symptom, I repertorize the case and using complete repertory, and this is my repertorial sheet. Okay. In repertorial sheet, there is 5 medicine. Okay, phosphorus, posticum, natramur, and sulfur, and lycum. These are the remedies which cover the whole case. Okay, as my patient is hot. Okay, so I discarded phosphorus and posticum. Okay, and natramur, sulfur, and lycum. Okay, this is differentiation of medicine: natramur, lycum, and sulfur. After repertorization, this medicine is differentiated with their characteristic nature. Okay, so lycopodium was considered during differentiation. Why? Because the hot patient is thermally hot, and lyco is also produced thermally hot patient. Okay, so lyco is the patient no lyco is not selected because the patient did not exhibit the characteristic lycopodium personality. She was not dominating, not dictatorial, or intellectually arrogant. Okay, sulfur also considered because the patient was thermally hot, but however the characteristic sulfur trait such as egoism, self-centeredness, carelessness, and indifference were not present in this case. So natramur was selected because it covers the patient tendency to dwells on past disagreeable or hurtful event, suppressed emotion, silent suffering, sympathetic. Okay, it also corresponds well with the physical general, including hot thermal state, thirst, profuse perspiration, and desire for spicy food. Therefore, it matched the totality of symptom most closely and was chosen as the final prescription. I given natramurine 200 potency. Why 200 potency? Because it is safe, moderate, and higher patient age is or elder or 50 years of lady. So that's why I consider 200 as a safe and moderate potency to give. And with this patient giving more mental, so I consider natrum mu 200 in potency. This is my prescription on 28th April 2025, natrum mu 201 dose plus SL for 15 days. Okay. After 15 days, after 15 days of prescribing natrum mu, only 2 to 4% relief is there in all complaint. Okay, that pain of the number pain is little decreasing compared to last time. But patient having acute diarrhea episode. Okay, diarrhea since 2 days due to outside food taking. With too much of weakness, with this diarrhea, there is too much increase of thirst for cold water, and with this there is watery stool with so much exhaustion. So on this totality, I prescribe arsenic R30 water dose for 2 days. Okay. And I follow up on phone call. Okay, so this diarrhea is improved within 1 day. So I reduce the water dose of arsenic, and improvement in weakness is on 2 days. Okay, in within 2 days, patient overall improves. So after 1 day of prescribing arsenic 30 water dose, okay, then I slowly taper down and gradually stop the arsenic. Then after 2 days, patient comes and tell me that diarrhea improves within 1 day and improvement in weakness is there. So I prescribe SL for 15 days. After 15 days, patient I prescribe natrum mu 200 in repetition. Okay, because why? So patient showed 30 to 40% improvement in all condition that complain of sciatica, numbness, weakness of muscles, cone on right side feet cone. So there is 30% improvement. But since till there is a aggravating factor which also affect the patient too much. That sciatica is aggravated by standing and morning. If patient is standing for 5 to 7 minutes, then patient has compulsion to take rest or sitting down. Okay, in morning patient has too much pain, but that pain is aggravating, but if rest is taken then it ameliorated. So because of this, and also calf muscle pain is also improves, but that aggravating factor also affect the patient much more. So I prescribe the natrum mu 201 dose and SL for 15 days. After 15 days, the lumbar pain is improves 60 to 70%. That patient uh, standing for more than 10 minutes. Okay. On morning, the pain intensity was so much reduced. Okay. No complaint of pain in calf muscle, and only the traces of hard skin and affected area of corn, that is on right foot. So and before okay, so this is about the old complaint, that sciatica. And in last week, patient narrates that in last week patient had episode of herpes on the left abdominal area with no pain, only slight irritation at the affected part, which improves within week without any medication. Okay, so with no need of any medication, herpes is improved. So I prescribe SL for 15 days. Okay, after 15 days, patient having no complaint and do her regular activity. Okay, without any disturbance. And calf muscle pain, lower limb pain, numbness, cones, pain in cone, all things are gone. Patient do her regular activity with energetic way and mentally feels so much calm and relaxed. Okay, before giving me case or before coming to my clinic, patient constant having thought of that past event. Okay, now patient says that patient mentally feel calm and relaxed. So I prescribe SL for month. After 1 month, patient having no complaint of sciatica, or no complaint of bursting type of pain, no complaint of radiating pain, no complaint of numbness, no complaint of calf muscle pain. But patient having pain before 15 days or since 15 days, patient having pain on knee, both side of knee, more of left side, okay, which is aggravated by walking and ameliorated by rest. Patient also narrate that before 15 years, okay, in past history I mentioned that patient having rheumatism of knee on both side before 15 to 20 years, okay. Patient narrate that at this time of follow-up that before 15 years same type of pain is happen or appear at both the knee, which treated allopathically, but the intensity of the pain is less and more tolerable, okay. So I consider this as a reappearance of old symptom as mentioned in the Kant's 11th observation. So is a favorable sign in the path of cure. So therefore I decided to wait and watch instead of interfering with any medicine indication. So I give SL for 15 days. After 15 days, knee pain improves 50 to 70% without any complaint. Okay, and no complaint of sciatica, calf muscle pain improves, and patient mentally feel relaxed. So I prescribed SL for 15 days for observation. After 15 days, patient having no complaint of sciatica, no complaint of calf muscle, no complaint of knee pain. Okay, and due to this patient, with this there is mental calmness. Okay, patient do her work energetically, and due to this, I reconfirm with SLR test that what about the position or what about the status about the sciatica. So SLR test was also negative in this time of follow-up. So I stop the medicine and give advice to patient for follow-up after 3 months. Okay, so this is about the my case. This is about the presentation of sciatica. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience, for listening and valuable attention. I hope this presentation helped in understanding the functional pathophysiology and homeopathic management of sciatica in a better way. I once again thanks to the respected teacher and all participants for this opportunity. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You have explained wonderfully and systematically. You explained from the definition to the case presentation. Systematically, you are arrange the PPT also. Very nice it was. Actually, you teached us like as you are teaching the student. It's really wonderful. Mostly, I'm seeing the teachers presenting here. They are teaching very nicely, like how they are teaching in the college. Dr. Danesh has raised hand. Actually, we have 3 minutes more, I think. And your your time sense also very wonderful. You have finished it with before 3 minutes. Dr. Danesh, you can ask.
Yes, Dr. Dimple Sawhney, it's really a very good session indeed. And you covered the topic in a better way, and your case taking is also very interesting and very important one. Just what a homeopath need to do and how to proceed from taking the case, and you have done it in a beautiful way. You choose the right symptoms for repetition, and after repetition, you got 2 chili remedies and 3 hot remedies, and you are able to eliminate those hot chili remedies in the beginning, and then you are able to come up with the hot remedies, and from the hot remedies, at last you choose the Natramur according as per the mental symptoms. Typically, that is the most similar, and that's the why you are able to give the Natramur. And but the only point of difference is that when in the very first part itself, you after giving Natramur, you may find a little bit difficult in finding a diarrhea. But actually, in acute diseases, diarrhea may come out, and it may go without many medication with proper uh, management. And only if there is persisting diarrhea, then only you can think about whether it is due to the aggravation of the medicine or it was a suppressed diarrhea. All the symptoms that rise after the suppression of that diarrhea, and whatever may be. Anyway, congratulations for coming over here and delivering such a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And once again, congratulating your principal, Dr. Izzat Mirza sir, for giving such a beautiful people. That means the powerful personalities from your college. That is Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College to this forum. Thank you, sir, once again. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
What's your
Thank
opinion on that?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Danesh. And Dr. Dimple, we have some questions in the chat box, but I don't know, we don't have time to answer that questions. If you can please send a message to that questions. Okay. Dr.
Okay.
Prasad Panda, Dr. Sheila said appreciation, and even Hitarth Mehta.
That
They
is,
have.
sir is the principal of the college.
Okay, okay. So if you please go through the questions and answer that questions.
Okay, okay.
Actually, we have to move to the next session in our local language. So thank you so much, and come again and again. Really, we are very familiar with the Rajkot College and the teachers of the Rajkot College. Really, everyone is presenting wonderful presentation here. Thank you so much. And Dr. Danesh,
Yes,
you have.
yes, there is an announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have a discussion on homeopathy for the new millennium. The participants are, panel members are Dr. Takeshwar Jain, Professor Muktinder Singh, Professor M.K. Sahani, and the moderator will be Dr. A.K. Gupta.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Danesh. And moving to the next session, thank you all the participants, and thank you once again, Dr. Dimple Soni. And good night and bye-bye to everyone. See you the same time tomorrow. We are continuing this webinar for lifelong. So everyone have to join for the for tomorrow also. Not for tomorrow. You have to join every day. And now I am handing over to Dr. P. Shaila for moderating Malayalam session. Doctor, you are welcome. Please.